Welcome to our second podcast called Medicare GPS, navigating you step by step through your Medicare journey. So I'm Jamon White, this is Paula White, and we are founders of Four Oaks Medicare Planning, and we just do topics that are relevant to you and Medicare. So what do we have on the agenda today?
Yeah, so again, we keep it short and sweet with our podcast. We're going to be going over our topic of the day, which is going to be Medicare and long-term care. Always a question. Then we'll have some story time, some inspiration time, and end up with some news and deadlines, things to keep in mind for folks out there in wherever they are in their Medicare journey. So
sounds good.
Let's get started. Okay, so now let's just jump on into our topic, Medicare and long-term care. When we get a lot, what does Medicare cover? What does Medicare not cover as it relates to long-term care?
Yeah, it's one of those tricky ones because, you under original Medicare, and it's very important to know like what's covered, what's not covered. And long-term care is one that people think is covered because you'll see like skilled nursing. You go into a rehabilitation center. Sometimes that can be a nursing home, but it's really short term. And so when it comes to long-term care, a lot of people are caught off guard thinking that, I've reached 65. This is a senior program. Mm-hmm. It's going to cover me if I need to go into the nursing home or if I need home health aides to come in and provide care. It really does not do that. And that's something that's really important for people to know so that you're not caught off guard.
Yeah, so it's like that difference between, say, health insurance, right, and then a long-term care insurance. Like the Medicare is just that health insurance portion,
right?
Not the long-term care portion.
Right. So when you think about it, when you go into a long-term care situation, that's really when you're going in and your primary need is health aides or, the activities of daily living. There's usually, 6 or 7 of them, like being able to feed yourself, getting in and out of a chair, bathing yourself, those types of things. And so that's where the confusion comes in because sometimes that can overlap when you are dealing with a health issue. So some of the biggest ones that I see is, if you have had like major hip surgery, something like that, and you're in the hospital for a few days, and then they say, hey, you need to go in to a skilled nursing facility to do some rehabilitation. That is covered under Medicare.
Okay.
But it's just on a very short-term basis. Some of the biggest things that happen is if you're in a skilled nursing facility, that's where the insurance is wanting you out of there as quickly as possible. And you're
like, you're good.
You need
Get
to
out.
Stay.
Yeah.
And so that's really something that's really important for people to know. Because if you're not actually able to continue to get better, you will actually be kicked out.
Because you're just at that spot where there's no forward progress, right? So they're going to say, okay.
Right now.
You're good. Bye.
Right now. Yeah. And then most people are like, wait, like my mom or my dad, they need to be in there.
Right.
But the problem is that's where it goes from skilled nursing Medicare to long-term care.
Almost like this is ongoing stuff, and then here's maintenance. It's like, here's this acute thing that happened, right? And they broke their hip, so they had to go in there and get just to where they can function as good as possible, right? And then now we're going into maintenance care. And so that's where that transition is.
It is. I mean, it is, but it's not just maintenance, because this is where it gets tricky, is you might be in the nursing home recuperating.
Right.
But if you're not at a point where you can recuperate anymore, the nursing home might be where you need to be
stay,
or have home health people come in.
Right.
But you're no longer being treated under Medicare at that point.
Right.
Because they're saying if there's no more forward progress, just because you need activities of daily living help, that's the long-term care that's not covered under Medicare.
Not covered.
So you can literally be in a situation where you are in a nursing home having coverage, and then it goes away because it's not designed to be long-term.
Got it.
And that's the important point.
Right.
You have to prepare other things to deal with long-term care, not when you're under Medicare.
Right. So all this we were talking is original Medicare, but when we talk about the supplements and the Medicare Advantage plans, what does that really change in the long-term care world? Is there a difference between the two? Is it any different?
It's really not any different because, Medicare supplements always follow original Medicare.
Right.
So if it's denied under original Medicare, then it's going to be denied under the supplement. Now, the Medicare Advantage plans, for the most part, follow what's covered under original Medicare and what's not. There might be a Medicare Advantage plan that might offer some limited help in-home health care type stuff. But again, it's going to track Medicare.
Yeah.
And that's, again, something that you have to be careful of a little bit is home health care, it'll show that it's covered under Medicare. But again, it's like the skilled nursing thing. You can have someone come in and help you if the doctor orders it, but it's while you're recuperating from something that's being treated. So if you have like knee replacement and you cannot shower, you can actually have your doctor order someone to come in and help you, but that's only on a very temporary basis while you're recuperating from that surgery.
From the surgery.
It is not something that's going to last for years and years to come.
Right. Well, and that's important to know too. And on our website, we have a great resource blog about the two different roads of Medicare, which is the Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage plans. Go check that out. It's a blog, kind of explains the differences of those two. There's also a video as well. I'll put the link in the description below as well. But it sounds like on the long-term care front, there's really not too much of a difference. Maybe a one-off here or there that might be slightly different, but for the most part, those two plans are pretty comparable.
That's right.
Yeah.
They do not cover long-term care.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the sum of it.
So with your parents though, you had a very long time with both of them having Parkinson's and your mom was so important to her to not have to go into a facility, right? And just stay in the home, right? So what do you kind of recommend for people like that just really want to be at home or talk about your story with your parents?
Yeah. So this hits home big time for me because you want to honor, as kids, we loved our parents. We wanted to honor their wishes. And one of the things how you do that is have a conversation, whether it's you or have a conversation with your kids, because it's important to know what are your wishes and how are you going to accomplish that. Because if Medicare is not where you're going to get the coverage, you're going to have to figure out how are we going to bridge that gap? How are we going to stay out of the nursing home for as long as possible?
Right.
And then once you go into that type of facility, how are we going to work that? And so, when it comes to that takes planning. Some will set up long-term care insurance, which is what my parents did have, and that allowed them to stay in their home for a long time and have home health aides come in. Now, you really need to set up long-term care insurance. My dad was around 53 when he got that program going. You really need to start earlier. Our clients, a lot of times when you hit 65, 66, it can become really, really expensive. And so we have some other products that are really specifically designed. They're not long-term care insurance.
Yeah, because we don't sell long-term care. I mean, that's not our thing at all.
Right. But there are some products that are very specific that are awesome right now that we have that are dealt with an indemnity to help fund home health care aides coming into the home when it's needed
for a longer. So it's a longer time, right? So it's not that acute time. It may be 1 year, 2 years. Right.
Up to
it's not infinity, but it's definitely
right. It can be
longer.
1-2 years, but it's designed to pay you as you need people to come in to help. And the whole goal of it is for you to stay in your home. Everyone wants to stay in your home. You do not want to go into a nursing home. And so that is a conversation that we're going to talk more about in these upcoming months about that particular product, because I have a lot of people that are interested in it. And it's just another way to help plan so that you're not caught off guard and you can stay where you're comfortable. Is in your home.
Save thousands. I mean,
absolutely
to be able to stay in your home,
because it is expensive. It is crazy expensive, and so it can drain your bank account really, really quickly, or cause you to make decisions that you would not want to. So if we can talk about that and plan for it, then it will allow you more flexibility. And it's really important that flexibility, you're thinking about not only what you want, but you're helping your children give you what you want.
Right. Yeah. So, and then also there's a whole nother discussion when you go into, say, hospice care and those kind of things, which, your mom did need at some later on. And so we'll definitely have some, podcasts coming up too about the hospice side of it and how that
very
works.
Important. Right? Very important. If I would just talk about it for just a second.
Okay.
A lot of times people engage hospice too late.
Too late.
That's okay. A little bit of something about what we'll talk about.
Yeah. Well, and also you can go in and out, which I just,
Don't wait too long because it's wonderful.
People to not know.
People are scared of hospice.
Yeah.
But hospice is actually a wonderful program, and that's my one thing. It's you wait too long. Yeah, it's okay to have the conversation.
Yeah. I actually talked to a hospice lady the other day, and she said, it's the one thing that Medicare got right. That's what she says. And that's from her hospice, her hospice take on it. Yeah. So advice on things to do, planning, talk to your insurance agent about long-term care. Talk if it's a good fit for you. Talk to us about whether, this other, in-home product might be a good idea. And then just understand, right? Understand where that line is between what it covers and what it doesn't cover. And then do your planning with your state attorney or your family and get it all locked up.
That's right. I would just say again, information is key, education is key. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're to educate. And then we'll move you into if we can help, we'll help. If you need a connection on more other things that we don't do, we can provide that because we're in this community and you're in our community. And so we want to help point you in the right directions.
Right. Awesome. So now we're on to story time with Jamon. So what story do you have for us today?
So I know that dental and vision are always an issue with those that have Medigap plans or Medicare supplements are the same thing, but original Medicare doesn't cover that stuff. So I had one of my clients call in and was like desperate for needing help with like root canals, like 2. And those are thousands of dollars. They're just getting more and more expensive. And normally I'm like, I cannot help because there's a long waiting period.
Okay.
For those types of things. The insurance company is not going to pay 50% of a root canal usually unless you've
on the
been
first day.
on and paid those premiums for a year.
Right.
So, but I have a new product right now. I was able to put her on the very next month. It goes into effect. No waiting periods.
Wow.
50% coverage on root canals and all this stuff. Dentures, partials. She's able to go in and it paid. And it was a success story.
That's great.
And so my only caveat whenever I'm always talking with people is you need to make a decision on it because I don't know how long this product came out in October. I think they're trying to create some sizzle. I don't know how long it's going to
actually do it.
Put the waiting periods because they're probably getting drained money.
Yeah, the January is not going to be a good month for that.
We're
for that
scheduled
company.
to have a webinar or something on it.
Yes,
so
we're going to be doing a
webinar
for the dental, vision, and hearing plans that came out in October. So that'll be coming. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. All right. So now we have the quote of the day. See if Jamon can know who said this inspirational quote, which I think is very pertinent to our the Four Oaks family, which is, in the end, it's not the years of your life that count, it's the life in your years. I almost said ears. The life in your years.
So I was supposed to guess.
Okay, so who do you think said that?
Okay, that sounds very inspirational. John F. Kennedy.
No, it is Abraham Lincoln. Hey, you were in the president vein there. But yeah, then I think that kind of embodies to our mission and our prayer and hope for our, Four Oaks family is that this is, don't just live longer, thrive longer, right? And live that life in your years.
Absolutely.
Not your ears. So kind of going into news and deadlines, right here, we're in January. What are kind of what we need to know right now?
Remember, we just finished the annual election period, and some of our clients are calling. They might not have done something with their Part D. And normally we can't do anything. You are stuck for another year until the next annual election period.
If you missed it.
But I'm seeing some special election periods open up for certain counties. And so we always say, when in doubt, just call. If we can find a way to make a change, we'll find it.
When in doubt, check it out.
Yeah.
How about that?
That sounds good.
That's fun. Okay, so great. So no matter what, if you forgot to change your Medicare Part D drug plan, and you're like, I really don't love it, it's worth at least a phone call and see if there's something.
I can't guarantee it, but there's some ways that we're finding that we can do it. So don't stress. Just call.
Just give it a shot. All right. Well, this wraps up our episode 2. I'm so excited, and I think it was a great one. I think we had fun.
I hope people found it.
It was fun, interesting. Yeah. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our channels, and we appreciate you. And then our next topic is a really fun one, which is going to be the different types of Medicare agents. Different types of. A lot of people don't know there's different types of agents, and so I think it'll be really fun.
Know who you're calling.
Educational for a lot of people.
Know who you're talking to.
I know I didn't before we started doing it. I was like, everybody, there's Medicare. What's the difference? But there's a big difference. Yeah. So we'll be going over that, and we hope to see you there.
Bye-bye.